I love songs. I love the voice. I love writing for the voice. I've been writing songs for a long time. I adapted Edgar Allan Poe's short story, The Telltale Heart, kind of like my version of a musical ghost story. And I loved the process of collaborating with people, singer and director and lighting, and just kind of dipping my toes in the waters of opera. And I caught the bug. I loved it. So the director with whom I was working on Telltale, she asked me if I'd ever read Frankenstein. And I hadn't. She said, "I think you're gonna like it." And I read it and it blew my mind. It was such a beautiful, compelling story that is so resonant, and it spoke to me, it moved me, and it felt operatic. I'm Greg Kaler. I'm the composer and librettist of Frankenstein. I started by focusing on what, to me, is really the heart of the novel. It's the scene where the creature meets up with Victor Frankenstein, who created him, and basically tells him what's happened to him since Frankenstein abandoned him. And it's a miserable existence. He's been abused, he's been abandoned, he's been left for dead. And it's such a heartbreaking scene where everything's coming together. So I focused on that. I knew that if I was going to tell the story of Frankenstein, I had to begin with this scene. It's the most powerful scene. And that's where I started. And I read it over and over, and I took the lines from Mary Shelley that I just had to go into the music. I didn't want to change anything I didn't have to change because her language is so beautiful. And I spoke the words out loud, I hummed them, I sang them, I thought about them, and they just started to coalesce into music. That's always how I write a song. I just live with the words until they suggest some musical idea to me. And then I expand it and I craft it. My wife is everything to me. She factors into Frankenstein in so many ways. She is the inspiration for the character of Elizabeth, who is the conscience of the entire opera. She is goodness and beauty and love, and she's empathetic and thoughtful. It's all the things that the creature yearns for, never finds, all the things that Victor has and ignores. It's ultimately all we want. And she's been my champion and my support, my other dramaturg. Writing an opera is a long process, and it's fraught. There's a lot of ups and downs. So she keeps me grounded. She helps me celebrate the good stuff. She helps keep me in check when the bad stuff feels overwhelming. So in many ways, this is a co-creation. Arizona Opera picked me, for which I'm very, very grateful. When I started on this, I wrote this first scene, The Creature's Tale. I also wrote part of what would become a later scene involving Elizabeth and Victor, who are fiancés. And Jennifer Johnson Cano sang the role of Elizabeth. She's a very dear friend. She's one of the most extraordinary artists I've ever met. And her husband, Christopher, was the music director at Arizona Opera at the time. And he was in New York for auditions, and she invited him. And I think he roped Joe Spector into coming. I had no idea, which is probably for the best. And I think they really liked it. And then I think it was about 2 years later, Joe called me and said, "Yeah, I was there, and I liked it, and we'd like to commission you to complete the opera." The last couple of years have been very difficult around the world. Pandemic, war, political divisiveness, everything, the economy up and down. Sometimes I question what I can offer through music that can help. And I really go back and forth on that. I'm not always convinced that what I'm doing is enough. And yet, there have been moments when everything seems so overwhelming and so difficult. The helplessness, the feeling of powerlessness, I can't change everybody's station in life. I can't make everybody comfortable and secure. I can't stop a war. If I can provide a few minutes of relief, I think that is a worthy goal, and I really, that's what I want from Frankenstein.